Quick public service announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children over the age of 18, I am sharing simply because people may follow my channel or the podcast at cryptotalkradio.net. We are not scheduled to do another podcast recording until next week, Tuesday. So I figured I'd use the YouTube channel as a great opportunity to share this. I will elaborate further on the weekly because I do think it warrants more conversation. And it didn't surprise me, but it disappointed me. Lillian Finance. I have done a couple of videos on Lillian Finance recently, and I basically said it's highly unlikely that Lillian Finance would get listed on Coinbase. I said that multiple times. You've heard me go back and check the videos. YouTube doesn't let you edit them. You'll have heard me say I'm skeptical. It's highly unlikely, primarily because of the tokenomics. Do I think that they may have talked to somebody? I do. Then we saw the information about the client onboarding in Coinbase, and that raised further questions. Then we saw what apparently the head of listings came out and said this is false, heard nothing further from this guy, and Lillian deleted the tweet. Unfortunately, the person I refer to as Bald Russ, his name's Luis in the ecosystem for those that are familiar, Bald Russ, the way that he kept hyping it is very similar to the cult leader on Saitama. What they'll do is they just put out hype and shill to create artificial pumps. This is very dangerous, very problematic, seems to keep happening in cryptocurrencies. And of course, the previous allegiance with Saitama and Lily Finance at the time created greater concerns that they may have inherited some of the bad habits and some of the ego, because dev ego, as you've heard me say if you listen for a while, dev ego is what kills projects. It's not the token. The token is fine. The code is fine. There's nothing wrong with the cryptocurrency. But you have people who run the crypto and essentially abuse it as if they were abusing a child. That's what happened here. Because let's say, for sake of argument, that someday Lillian Finance ends up on Coinbase. The problem is sentiment has been harmed. You've misled investors. You make promises that you couldn't back up. And then to further this, you insulted people who questioned you. You ducked the smoke and didn't come on conservative channels such as my own, but not just my own, who were wanting to talk to you and help you understand how you're supposed to do this correctly. You do an announcement knowing full damn well that Terrarium had the same problem. Saitama had the same problem. Mathematically, we can only calculate this as such. This team, largely, I believe, led by Bald Russ, felt so arrogant, so much in their own smoke, that they figured that they could do what others couldn't do. That's logically what must have driven this. That's largely what must have caused this. That's largely what must have motivated them to believe that somehow they are different than anybody else. They're human like everybody else. They have the same faults as everybody else, when all they had to do was keep the damn mouth shut. So since they didn't keep their mouth shut, and since apparently there will not be a Coinbase listing, they actually announced on Twitter that there will not be a listing now, and apparently there's going to be a future date that they have not received yet. Here's the question. Why is it they haven't received a date? Because if there's a delay, why would it be wide open? Coinbase doesn't work that way. Coinbase is pretty clear about when you're going to be listed on something. Now, in this case, we're dealing with a token with tokenomics that nowhere close any other token has on Coinbase. Do I think that's an excuse? No. My point and my only problem, and the reason I have no respect for this team, in particular Bald Russ, but the reason I have no respect for this team is because they're making these stupid, silly mistakes that are preventable. And more importantly, they're ducking the smoke of people trying to help them do it correctly in the best interest of the investors. Good people got harmed by this. And hopefully nobody listening to my channel YOLO'd into it. If you tossed a 10 or whatever, knowing you'd lose it or anticipating you might, it is what it is. If you're a gambler, it is what it is. But I would never advocate projects that mistreat their investors more than anything else. That's the important takeaway, folks. You should not basically disenfranchise your investors this way. And you certainly should not disrespect them as Bald Russ did, and as many of them did in their telescam, which I don't go, but I see the screenshots and people's complaints. So all they're doing is pissing people off. What are you left with then? You claim you're going to be trying to do all this good in society, and it seems like a good cause, but all you do is piss people off. That's not the way real business works. We know there's a real LLC behind this, but that's not how real businesses work, which is the same lesson Saitama had to learn that they technically still haven't learned because they never fixed their crap either. So in summary, hopefully nobody got wrecked by this garbage. Hopefully people listen to Leicester when I said I'm highly skeptical. And just wait. I said this in the podcast most recently. Just wait. Wait, and this is why. Make them prove what they say. Don't go off what they claim. You need to see it in evidence, even if it means you lose out a little bit, you're going to be in a safer position. Always my recommendation, always was, always will be. And where do we go from here? I don't know. But I do think that we are now in a situation where people are starting to get smarter when they're scrutinizing, and that's good. But we still have a subset of people who are getting wrecked because they don't scrutinize. And I want you to scrutinize. If you're listening to me, scrutinize. Don't go off the claim. Go off the proof, because you can't trust hardly any cryptocurrency these days. That's just the truth of the matter. Now, I'm going to put a little side note in here, and I'm not worried because he don't listen to my channel. Don't give a damn about me. He ain't going to say nothing. Rodney, Fudney, whatever, Crypto Journeys. Look, I see what's happening with your camera, brother. I can help, man. It's actually an easy thing. I can help. It's disheartening to see you fighting your camera. I can help you, man. I can help you. I really can. All you got to do is reach out, man. I'm not part of the clique. I got you. But again, it's supposed to be a community. I can help you with the camera. You can check mine. You can check mine on my channel. Check mine. Mine doesn't do that. There's a reason. It works. Just got to know how to work. You just got to know how to work it. You just got to know the settings, man. I had to learn the hard way. And I have a high-end camera. I had to learn how to get it I had to fight mine too. But eventually I got the settings and now it just works like magical gold. I can help you, man. I can help you.